Okay, everybody, so this is your company profile page, and it's where you'll find some default values for your managed router deployment. Some of this stuff is very MikroTik specific, and some is a little more useful for general managed router deployments. So we'll start from the top and work our way across. First off is Roman. What Roman will allow you to do is proxy to another router board and then connect through it to Winbox to an additional unit that's on the other side of the first unit. Under Watchdog, if you say yes there, what's going to happen is that the managed router will ping the provisioning server through a VPN tunnel. And so if it ever loses access to the internet for a period of time longer than several minutes, it will reboot the router board and try and recover internet service. The next up is the WAN port, which will default to Ether 1. And if you would prefer for that to default to a different port, you can specify that here. Under SNMP community, you can enter the default SNMP community string so that your polling systems and monitoring systems can talk to this. Now, each individual managed router license will have many of these settings that you can override. So if you'd like a default value for all of your managed router deployment, this is where you're going to stick it. So same thing for the default SSID. It's going to usually be your company name. And then next up is the hidden SSID for technicians. So what this is going to do is turn on a hidden SSID, and you'll see there you can enter the SSID and passphrase. And this SSID will not be displayed to users that are local to the network. It's going to be hidden from them and allows you to get access so that when your technicians are in the driveway or unable to get physical access to the premise, they don't have to get on the customer's network or learn what the customer's passphrase and SSID are in order to get access. And it'll be universally accessible from all your managed router deployment. In the same way, the technician account for routers is a username and password that's available on all of your managed routers. So this is what your installer can use to access any managed router, even though each managed router will have a unique and randomly generated username and password for desktop use from in the back office. Next up is the default language, which is defaulted to English, but you can change that. We're building in support for other languages, and if you don't see a language you need supported there, please let support know by clicking on the live chat in the menu at the top left. So the next default value is whitelisted IPs, and during provisioning, the managed router is going to have its firewall very hardened, and only our provisioning system will be able to communicate to the managed router. So if you would additionally like to be able to access this managed router using Winbox or SNMP from some other system, you'll need to whitelist those IPs there. So it's very typical to put your NOC, your help desk, and any other polar IPs into this box. The important thing to note is that it does need to be in CIDR notation with comma separation. So for example, if you were going to add another IP here, there'd be no spaces and you would put comma, some other IP, and then a slash and the subnet designator. The next several columns are DNS and NTP servers. So for your managed router deployment, you'll want to specify, if you want to specify other DNS servers that are local to your network or closer to your deployment, you can specify those here. And then next up, we have billing system. Currently, there's support for both Sonar and PowerCode. And the way this works is that you select either Sonar or PowerCode. And if you pick Sonar, it's going to ask for the URL, username, and password. We'll need a administrator account so that we can get access to the speed profiles and query the system properly, but we don't need any write access. It can be read only. For PowerCode, you'll see that it just has the API key and the URL. We don't need any HTTPS or any other URL formatting strings in front of that. It's just your top-level domain and the subdomain listing. So for example, if I had Aries Sonar account, it would be aries.sonar.software. Once you're done making changes to this page, you can click Save. And if you would like for your changes to get pushed out to all the managed routers right now, instead of the next time that that router either reboots or queries for an update, you can click the Update All Routers in the Network, And you'll notice it says a note, this will disconnect the routers for a few seconds. This does not, it's not service affecting. This will not prevent customer routers from getting to the internet. It will prevent the management system from being able to communicate with the routers. And so this will take a couple of minutes per 1,000 routers on the network. So if you have only a few hundred, it won't take very much time at all. So under your list of administrators will be all of the account credentials that are able to log in and use the admin dashboard. So if you want to update a password as a common feature, you can click on the account name that you would like to update the password for, and it'll jump over to another screen where you can easily and quickly go new password, type in an updated password, and hit save, and that account will be able to log in with the new password. Now, if you decide you need to remove a user from being able to access the control panel, you can go there and set activated to no, and then save.